Can you dudes hear me? Dude and dudettes? This is Dominic D'Angelo. I don't know if I am live. I think I'm live. It says I'm live. The countdown stopped working. But can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Robert should be en route to be talking a little bit of pro wrestling today. But I am here. I am Dominic D'Angelo. Okay, Greg Jacobson says he can hear us. So, go Jets. First off, I saw that. Shout out to some folks here. WrestleDream was an audition for a snuff film. My goodness. Tony Gong. We will be talking about that for sure. And you guys ever see Copland, by the way? Where Sylvester Stallone goes deaf in his one ear because the guy shoots a shotgun by his ear and he's like, I can't hear you, Ray. That's what I felt like doing. So 5 New York games tonight. How about that? Yeah, we got the Mets, we got the Knicks, we got the Jets, we got the Yankees. So, but we got to stay in a New York state of mind when it comes to. See, Robert says he's trying to join. I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to send him another invite. Shows I am backstage. Very strange. Robert, I will send you a new email. Hold on a second. Gmail. Don't know why it's not. This StreamYard is very weird today. The countdown stopped working. And then I can't hear anybody. My sound's not on. I don't know what the heck's going on. Hold on a second. We're going to send him a new link. Hopefully this will work for him. Don't know what the hell is happening here. All right. We tried that out. I'm going to text Robert here. Live on air. Guys, did you... Oh, wait. We got him. We got him. Boom.
Hey,
Robert,
can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. Why is this not connecting to my? Hold on, I'm trying to fix something with the gimmick here.
That's okay. You know,
there we go. Now I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Robert. How are you?
Great. What a day. Yeah. So I'm gonna say maybe if I turn my video off, it'll be a little clearer. I'm audio only. No,
that's fine.
No, they're repairing the.
Ooh, Robert, you're a bit laggy. Tech issues, guys, on a Monday.
Yeah, that's fine. Is there a way to split the screen and just have me be a...
There should be a way to have you just have a still shot, but I am not sure. I am not savvy enough to figure out how to.
Whatever. You can hear me?
You can be the omnipresent voice, like around the horn. How's that sound?
My dream.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Robert, maybe try exiting and entering again, maybe. It's the only thing I can think, because audio...
I think it's... Yeah, on the...
Uh-oh. Dang it. I want Robert's analysis on WrestleDream today. I hope he can do it. Oh, dang it. Guys, let's... I'll take a couple comments here. Did Robert get Future Endeavor? No, he is here. He's just audio issues. Oh, Range, not the Knicks. Jeez Louise. Wow, you can tell I'm really in tune. It's the Rangers, Bills, Jets, Mets, and Yankees. Oh, that's a good point because of the Bills. Yeah, what a moron I am. Jeez, low man. I just assumed it was the Knicks. I've got a Sidney Crosby shirt on, by the way. Sidney Crosby, Mr. Rogers, as Mr. Rogers. Let's go Pens. I made this shirt, actually. So I might have to bring those back in the rotation and put them on sale because Pittsburgh love its T-shirts. So... Wrestling Old Head had a different perspective on WrestleDream, like 2 great episodes of Dynamite combined. So we have some different feelings. Tony Gong feels a certain way. Wrestling Old Head feels a certain way. But hey, let's get to it. We'll talk about it. Hopefully Robert can join us here. But let's talk a little bit of some pro wrestling when it comes to what happened. Well, I'll touch upon SmackDown just real quick. I barely watched it, but I saw a little bit of the exchange of Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns when it comes to that. And wow, what a reaction Jimmy Uso got. You know, it kind of speaks to how big of a star Jey Uso is right now, how over he is, how over the original bloodline is. And, Greenville, South Carolina showed up for Jimmy Uso big time. They were really into him. And it had to feel good for Jimmy. Had to feel good for Roman, too. It felt very electric moving out of, Bad Blood and trying to build to WrestleMania, or build to what they're doing for Survivor Series, to be more specific. So I thought that was really cool. As far as everything else turning out, setting stuff up for Survivor Series when it comes to the tease of Jey Uso maybe forming an alliance back again with them. Paul Heyman coming back. On top of it, you also have just checking in, seeing what Robert said. Wi-Fi is down due to repairs from the hurricane. Okay, so Robert might not be joining us. No worries. But it's nice to see him in a little cameo. Hopefully we'll get more of analysis starting tomorrow with him. But either way, let's get to some stuff here. I will say, WrestleDream, I caught about half of it, I will say. And what I saw, I did like. Certainly have some criticisms. We'll start off with the lead aspect of it all. Going into the main event, Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson. How did you guys feel about that ending? Look, I thought the plastic bag spot for the first time was effective. And I thought that, and I don't mean this time, I mean the first time they did it. So like Moxley turning heel, making it feel like a big deal. It felt extreme, felt scary. Shouldn't have gone back to that well again. I understand you're like kind of telling this dark and twisted kind of story and really trying to make an impact. I think it kind of speaks to AEW overdoing it with the violent aspect of things. And that's the well you have to go to yet again, is the plastic bag. I understand you want to write Bryan Danielson off television. I understand that you want to make it. And this ending felt very Bryan Danielson-esque when you consider how he's handled himself when it comes to incorporating his real life injuries and his real life troubles, and making you almost feel like, wow, heavy stuff. So they leaned big time into that. Now, I've said before, Bryan Danielson is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. All time, I will say. I like his personality. I like him being off the beaten path when it comes to his outlook on life, certain things like that. And then his ability to be an underdog and fight from underneath and tell a good story in the ring. Now, I have not been a fan of this incorporating his real life injuries and real life troubles into the pro wrestling realm of it all. I understand injuries and stuff happen with wrestling, and that's always a storytelling element. But with Bryan Danielson, it gives there's another layer to it, because we know his history. We know that we thought his career was over. We're aware of his neck injuries. We're aware of concussions. We're aware of everything else going on. So them leaning and playing into that, I'm sure Danielson is loving it, and that's the way he wants to have it happen. I can't say as a fan of his, I'm a fan of what they've been doing with that. So this appears to be the end of his full-time career. Now, reports are that Danielson has been a free agent, has remained a free agent, I think, for months on this aspect of it all. And so he's technically a free agent now. So the goodwill that Tony Khan has cultivated with Danielson and stuff speaks to him staying out longer. And I would imagine Danielson is not going to betray the trust of Tony Khan and, hey, I'm going to jump over to WWE right now. So he says he needs surgery. Got to believe him in that regard. I think it was great that maybe they took this opportunity to say, hey, we do need to put our world title onto Bryan Danielson, because he's one of the biggest stars we have ever had in the company. And it would feel like a very big missed opportunity to not put our world title onto him. So props to them for doing that. Can't necessarily say I'm a big fan of how they wrote Danielson off, but I will say this, that you have the aspect that they built moving forward from this. We've seen stuff. We saw a tease earlier on in the pay-per-view between Jerry Lynn and Orange Cassidy saying that he can be the guy, saying that he knows he's been through a lot of hard stuff lately and everything like that, and he believes in Orange Cassidy. Then you have Darby Allin, had a hard-fought, really fun, wild match with Brody King. I like that match a lot. And so you're building him to be another guy on the side of the baby faces, where you also have Mark Briscoe, also got a win. I will talk about a match here in a second that I would really, really liked. But you have so much kind of going on with these baby faces that haven't necessarily been in the main event spotlight. And so while you're seeing a faction form with Moxley and this new Blackpool Combat Club, which likely has Shane McMahon attached to it, then you're seeing another heel faction coming in the Hurt Syndicate with MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and more than likely Bobby Lashley. And then you're seeing the Elite still be heels. Lots of big heel factions. You have the Learning Tree. The deck is stacked against the baby faces right now. But then, I can't forget about Adam Cole. Now, people might have their criticisms with, hey, why is Adam Cole a babyface already? He turned on MJF. He was just the devil. Just completely forget about that story. I'm A-okay with them moving on, not having anything to do with that. Just let's have Adam Cole be a babyface. This is the role he's going to probably be best in at this moment in time. But you have a lot of these elements. So, in that regard, Danielson getting rid off in such a depressing way kind of can add to the story of these guys fighting from underneath and trying to fight all these evil entities that are around them, from the Elite, from the Blackpool Combat Club, from the Hurt Syndicate, because now we have Swerve on the side of the good guys now. You also have let me see, who's the other one that I was thinking of? Well, I mentioned Mark Briscoe and stuff like that. There's another one I want to get to too in a second. But so you have these elements coming into play. I think there's some potential there. It's just very, very convoluted with all these heel factions. What is this company takeover maybe thing going on with Moxley? When in the same turn, we also have the Elite, who's also a heel faction, who are also in control of the company. It's very weird, very convoluted. Want some elements of that. But I think there's some embers that Danielson left with this depressing, confusing ending. Can't say I'm a huge fan of it, but I can understand it maybe getting the other talent over, from an Orange Cassidy to a Darby Allin to Mark Briscoe to so a lot of those elements going into play. So I have to say, wasn't a fan of the finish. Definitely didn't need the plastic bag again. Definitely didn't need Danielson being like, oh God, they killed him, basically. He's getting yeah. But that's the way Bryan Danielson would want to end his in-ring career, right? That's how he would want to have it do it. He would want, so I gotta kind of tip the cap in that regard. So I do appreciate it from that fact of it, everything. Andrew Hermes, research man for the Arn Anderson show and co-host of Medusa. Hey, get your questions in for Medusa. Ask Deuce anything. I believe they're going live tonight, so be sure to get your questions in or at least they're going live this week. Andrew, help me out. Tell me if you're going live tonight. But get your questions in for Medusa right now. Be sure to do that. She is unbridled in her opinion. So there you go. And so is Andrew as well. And he says whenever a wrestler comes back from major injury, they are a babyface. I think that's a great point too. I think Adam's been gone long enough that the bitter taste in your mouth with the devil storyline can be completely removed. And I don't think people are begging to have a follow-up with that. I'm not, for sure. So yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting elements. Let me look at the card here. Okay, I will start off. Starting off. Geez, I've been at the show here for like 15 minutes already. The show kicked off with my favorite match of the night. Switchblade Jay White defeated Hangman Page. Now, I don't want to speak for Robert, but his initial opinion on the show was he thought it was a all right pay-per-view, I believe. I don't want to speak for him, but he says that the storylines doesn't really perpetuate anything moving forward when it comes to certain aspects of it. Like it's nothing that's you're really going to retain. It can be kind of almost like a forgettable pay-per-view. I'll let him talk about it in his own time with that stuff. So, and that might be on the Working Stiff Patreon. So be on the lookout for that. Anywho, I love this match. I love the outcome of this match. I love the fact that Jay White won clean against Hangman Page, against a guy that you've had booked to defeat a former world champion and Swerve Strickland in a big-time blood feud, and now Hangman Page is this chaotic, loose cannon madman. The Hangman is a madman now. And so him going off the rails and attacking people, just having no moral compass anymore, all that stuff, I think having Jay White return from a major injury, just like Andrew said, makes him a babyface. And they set it up in Pittsburgh that I got to see. Jay White came back, and you immediately have a new hot act in Jay White because you have him beat Hangman Page. You have him almost, because if you think about it, Jay White should have been the original version of this Hangman, where he's a loose cannon, where he doesn't give a crap about anybody. He's ruthless. He's the switchblade, you know. And now that's what they should have probably pushed him at starting off in AEW, and they should have had that kind of momentum behind him back then. So the fact that Jay White comes back, has been a needling, annoying, mean-spirited heel, and now he's on the side, our side, going up against Hangman Page and getting a clean win against him. I think this sets up Hangman for a new, really big feud, both him and Jay White. This could be the next big feud we're going to be looking forward to, I think, moving forward. And I would be all for that. I would be all for, because I like the aspect of this heel guy, this heel that we've been so attuned to, and that's been kind of obnoxious. Now he's fighting on our side, and now he's got a reason, you know. So he beat Hangman, makes him look credible, elevates both those guys. I don't think Hangman loses anything by losing, because he is a heel and he's got plenty of anger to unleash moving forward. So plenty of story to still be told. And indirectly, that elevates a great tag team like the Gun Club, who I've heard from just my view on it. And then in turn, what you hear about it, they're like almost like a WWE tag team in AEW because they have such personalities, they have the charisma, they just know how to handle themselves. So I think elevating a team like that is very important, and getting them on the side of the baby faces, I think, is a good thing, because you need a refresher when it comes to AEW and their tag division. I know I'm bouncing around here, but I will talk about that next. Is the Young Bucks defeating Private Party to retain the AEW tag team titles. I predicted on Friday that I went out on a limb and said I'm going to say that Private Party will win this match, and in effort to elevate a new tag team, didn't do that. They followed the convention that we've been so accustomed to with AEW, where they build guys for weeks on end just to job them out. And very frustrating aspect of it. The match, didn't watch it. Heard it was very competitive, and maybe it was the best that the Private Party has looked in quite a while, and maybe in 5 years. So, but they lost, and now they don't feel like a big deal anymore. It's a shame. It's a shame. You could have immediately made them feel like a big deal if that was a team you wanted to push. Because look, you put the titles on Private Party, that helps them. That's what, you know, world titles are for, is to elevate a new, a younger team, a rising team that you want to push and get the focus back on. They could have easily done that. And then you have these fresh tag teams. You still have the Young Bucks as heels. You have FTR, which are established baby faces. You could maybe turn them heel. You have a rising team like the Outrunners. You have the Gun Club. So if you put some focus onto this, they had an opportunity here. You have XMN, who has Rico now. I don't know if he's sticking around, but I thought that was pretty cool. But so, you know, the fact that they job Private Party out does not speak well. Dang it. Holy crap. that was lucky. My cat just knocked over coffee and it all stayed in. My God, this is just a chaotic day. Chaotic Monday, man. Well, a manic Monday, if you will. So let's take a couple of things going on. Reggie Bryan says Orange shouldn't want any more mocks after the last match they had. To be honest, Reggie, I can't remember the match they had previously. I don't know what I can't remember. So it's not that fresh in my mind. Private Party losing would have been fine had the Young Bucks not buried them on the mic before the match, calling them a forever low card act. See, I didn't even see that. After the Bucks won, they were like, I guess it was right. Yeah, horrible. Really don't like that. Gosh. Are they in the doghouse? What's going on here? Are they like, what's the deal? I don't get it. Either way, doesn't make sense. What did make sense, I did like this match as well, was Mariah May defeating Willow Nightingale to retain the AEW Women's title. I don't think you could have had Mariah May lose. Now, I would have had maybe Mariah May win by nefarious means, but she basically won clean against Willow. Willow has such equity, I think, that you can that they should be really helping continue to keep her hot. So her jobbing out to her, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think you can definitely come back to Willow being, again, this baby face that fights on behalf of the fans and stuff like that. So I don't think that's necessarily it's scorched earth now that she lost clean to Mariah May. I think you can kind of readdress that and kind of give her added motivation. But AEW has kind of shown, how has their follow-up been with losing Nax, when it comes to the matches? Will they still have the focus on Willow? Or is she almost going to be positioned in a private party role where it's like we won't see her for a little bit and then we forget about her? I'm not confident after what they did with the private party. But, if they follow up with Willow, I'm okay with her losing the way she did. So, yes, I like the match. I love Mariah May. Man, her winning and the way she celebrates, just like rolling on the mat like she's on ecstasy or something like that. Fantastic. You don't see that crap. I love it. I think she's a star. She's a star. And it speaks to why they have her retain the way she did too. So in that regard, I'm A-okay with. Let's see. Hey, we had that triple threat match. Takeshita defeated Will Ospreay and Ricochet to win the AEW International Championship. Kyle Fletcher spoils it for Ospreay, hits him with the screwdriver. Why did Will not bleed? If you're jabbed with a screwdriver, there's got to be blood drawn, right? Did I miss blood? Was it there? Not that I'm apt to see blood all the time in AEW, but yeah, I thought it was good. I thought, you have to disassociate yourself from the storytelling elements of the action in the ring. You really do when you see these matches. If you're able to do that, the match can be a lot of fun to watch, and it was a lot of fun to watch. These guys are really athletic. It supersedes almost the suspension of disbelief that you lose when watching these matches, because these guys just are going and going and going. And like, there's moments where they do these spots and then they kind of sell for a brief moment, like, oh my God, I'm dazed, but then they keep continuing to fight. So it's like they're riding off the momentum of it all. So I think the aspect of, all right, if I can separate myself from what my mind wants to tell me this is not realistic, then it's a fun match. Now, I think I would be more for that if they didn't follow it up with a 2 out of 3 falls match between Beast Mortos and Hologram, which has the same kind of athleticism and moveset. You have to suspend your disbelief with some of this stuff. And I think that's an issue. It wouldn't be as big as an issue if they didn't do it throughout the whole card a lot of the ways, because there's so much of this stuff. It's like, okay, wow, okay, they don't sell. This thing's going on. Really fun match. Don't want to take away from the athleticism that they did. But, and the way the athleticism is, could be the most athletic three-way match I've ever seen. Does that make it the best? That's up for you, the fan. Wrestling is a subjective art form. If you showed me a three-way match between Rob Van Dam, Eddie Guerrero, and Kurt Angle, I might be lean more closer to being more invested into that match than what I was for this match. However, this could have been the most athletic three-way match I've ever seen. Will I say it's the best? No, I will not say it's the best. You can if you want. That's fine. Hey, you know what is the best? The best around is Manscaped. All right, guys, it's the best time of the year. Football is back. We're talking NFL Sundays, NFL Mondays too, college football Saturdays, and the glorious grind of fantasy football lineups. This is where your inner GM comes alive, setting the perfect fantasy roster, screaming at your TV, and making last-minute waiver moves that either make you a hero or the guy everyone ridicules in the group chat. Heck yeah. Geez, I've been on the latter end more so than the former. But listen, when you're over here making your fantasy team, making sure your fantasy team is dialed in, don't let your personal grooming become the guy that gets left on the bench. Let's be honest. Nobody wants to fumble their grooming routine. That's where Manscaped Performance Package 5.0 Ultra comes in, acting as your all-in grooming playbook, from keeping things sharp down below with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. That's what I got. And taking care of these rogue nose hairs from ear hairs with the Weed Whacker 2.0. I also have that. This is the lineup that you'll keep looking and feeling like a champ and on and off the field. Join over 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for kickoff by heading over to manscaped.com. Use the code RUMOR for 20% off plus free shipping. Trust me, you'll be dialed in. The real MVP of grooming this season. So there you go. Speaking of MVPs, we saw MVP at, oh my God, WrestleDream last night. He was willing to facilitate a deal between Swerve Strickland, but Prince Nana was also there, and we had Swerve Strickland pledge his allegiance to Prince Nana, saying, hey, I don't turn my back on nobody, and you can shove your offer up your ass. He said that to MVP. Looks like Shelton Benjamin and Swerve are going to have a bit of a match at some point, because we got quite the confrontation between those two. And I'm sure this is going to all be a tease for Bobby Lashley's show. So whenever they announce, maybe we'll get Swerve versus Shelton this week on Dynamite. And then we have the debut of Bobby Lashley. So could be some good stuff there. I think I'm intrigued by this. I'm intrigued. There's a lot going on with factions, heel factions, and the decks are stacked against plenty of baby faces here. Will this all kind of make sense at the end? Dre, I don't know. That's the only thing I saw too for this week is Mercedes versus Princess Amanada. That's all I've seen so far. Queen Amanada. Prince Nana, Queen Amanada. There we go. Got it. So yeah, that was overall. I didn't watch all the show, but what I saw WrestleDream, I did kind of appreciate. They set things up so you can there's can be this new era feel to things with this TV deal. We have MJF. Geez, I didn't even talk about that. MJF is back. Danny Garcia has shown up again, and Adam Cole is back. So you have the elements to make this product, this new era of AEW with the TV deal, feel fresh, with returning superstars, with some rising stars, things like that. Obviously, they have their set of hiccups here when it comes to how it's all been executed, I think, in my opinion. But there's potential. We didn't even mention this, but it was announced over the weekend, or reported over the weekend, that Jimmy Jacobs is no longer with AEW. He was Tony Khan's right-hand man, his big-time assistant. I know he was sitting in on booking meetings, and Tony Khan has mentioned that publicly as well. And so he was one of the voices behind there. Will this kind of be a new thing when it comes to the storytelling aspect of what we're going to see on the AEW product? Lots of stuff to talk about. We'll preview Raw here real quick when it comes We have The Miz versus R-Truth. What will happen here? What will we see with Karrion Kross maybe coming into play when it comes to The Miz and R-Truth? We have Braun Breaker versus Kofi Kingston. Should be really fun there. Kofi Kingston is a great babyface. Braun Breaker has been teased as a babyface, but then they pivoted. And now he's a heel again. How will Xavier Woods factor into all this? One of the most intriguing storylines Raw has going is what's been going on with the New Day. Then Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill continue their women's tag team title defense. Got to appreciate that. You know, they defend the titles on SmackDown. Now they defend them on Raw. You want to make these tag team titles feel relevant, and no better way to do that around the waists of Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, and them defending it pretty consistently here. They're going up against Damage Control, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane. And then we'll have Gunther and Cody Rhodes face-to-face before WWE Crown Jewel. You know, you don't want to see them give away the whole hog here when it comes to Gunther and Cody just for this Saudi show, because I think there's so much potential down the line. I think you can kind of walk the line where it's just like, hey, yeah, we're doing our due diligence and setting up for this Saudi show, but we can't give away the whole house. So yeah, should be an interesting Monday night. I will be not tuning into it live. I might be tuning into the Jets game, but I might be away from that too and have to tape that as well, because got to maybe do a little thing with a local wrestling promotion called IWC, who's got a pay-per-view November 2nd. November 2nd. I believe it's called Winner Take All. And you can tune into that on Triller, I believe. Triller? But yeah, there might be some neat stuff happening there. Anywho, check out the new RVD, one of a kind. It dropped this morning. I changed the time. Instead of 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it drops every Monday on your YouTube on rvdtv.com, 4:20 a.m. Now, the podcast, the audio format of it will still drop at 4:20 p.m., but if you want to catch it early, a little bit early, go to rvdtv.com. You can catch it right in the morning via YouTube, rvdtv.com. Wow, we cover some cool stuff. Rob talks about the details behind a Legends deal. It got reported that he's under a Legends contract. Well, he's been under that Legends contract for 3 years now. So it's not news breaking, guys. It's not news breaking, but he dives into the details of a Legends contract and how it can kind of maybe change with people, certain things like that. We also talk about Eddie Guerrero, his chemistry with Eddie Guerrero, considering the late Eddie Guerrero had a birthday before the weekend hit. So I wanted to talk about Eddie on there. We talk about another Eddie and Eddie Mansfield and him exposing the business back during that infamous John Stossel segment. And Rob worked with Eddie after the fact, and he gives the reasons why. Pretty cool story there. He also shares his relationship with Ultimate Warrior. Really, really fun story there that you should tune into. rvdtv.com or tune in wherever you get your damn podcasts. Plus, be sure to hit Working Stiff if you haven't checked it out. Scott and Robert break down all the news and stuff that was going on last week. But Robert will be covering, I'm sure, WrestleDream with Scott as well on the Patreon. So feel free to sign up for that. Go to Working Stiff on Patreon. Check that out. As far as everything else goes, that should do it for today, guys. Appreciate you bearing with the tech difficulties, all that stuff. Go Yankees. Yes, Devin, I'm with you on that one. They're my third favorite baseball team. Pirates, who typically suck. Cardinals, who don't typically suck, but they suck this year. But I was first and always a Yankees fan, so got to thank Wade Boggs and Tino Martinez for that. Yes, I do have a VCR. How do you know I have a VCR? Because of the tapes? Do I have a tape on here? But I do have a VCR over here. I just got one. Yeah. So how about that? A good, very astute observation, Dre Owens. Very astute observation. Oh, tape, because I said tape. Well, I mean DVR. But yeah, that's what I got. Anywho, hey, best of luck in your future endeavors. Let's go Jets and let's go Yankees. Nah, let's not go Rangers. Yeah, and that'll do it. I'll see you tomorrow here on Rumor and Innuendo. All right, guys.